There it is. Okay. All right. Oh, and they're 1391, so this should actually be a really good game for us. Yeah, I hope you're all right waiting because he's hashtag money. Well, I hope not. Anyways, you're playing white, so up to you on and on and on. The game's gonna auto abort if you don't make a move. There we go. D4. I really want to learn the Dutch defense where you play F5 in response, but I don't know it yet. So this should be okay for us. I actually have reasonable results playing against D4, but the games are very different than E4, E5 games. They're much less tactical early, and they're much more tactical late, versus like E4, E5 games are tactical very early. The London system. Somebody watches Eric Rosen. The accelerated London system. And I need to move us back to the game. Sorry about that, so you guys can see what's going on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think the Dutch would be awesome. I think it's kind of like the King's Indian, though, where you just kind of have to like know what you're doing, and I don't know what I'm doing. At least that's the impression that I've heard in the past. I don't know if that's true. You can tell me better, Checkmate Wee. You know more about this than I do. But I know that, for example, in the King's Indian, you just kind of like attack along your own king side, and the computer thinks you're worse the whole time, and then you checkmate people. And I'm curious whether or not that's the case typically. I don't know. Okay. Yes, I'm happy to play the copycat variation. And this is 10 plus 0, no increment. So hopefully on and on and on is comfortable here. Just to make sure that they're aware of what's going on. So far, there hasn't been a whole lot to think about, but that's okay. That is okay. Yes, Emilian. Decade_S is your name. So the question is, do I want to play D5 right now? And I don't see a problem with doing that. So I'm going to go ahead. The idea being that if my opponent takes, then I get to develop my bishop for free. And if my opponent doesn't take, then I just get an overwhelming amount of space on the queen side. In addition, it allows me to develop my knight to its more natural square. I don't really want to develop it to D7. I want to develop it to C6 so that I can fight for the center. There's a big risk to the Dutch in losing a 15 moves compared to the Queen's Gambit decline, but it's not quite as theoretical as the King's Indian. Good to know, Checkmate Wee. I'm just going to start calling you Checkmate now. The Wee really gets me. I feel like every time I'm supposed to go like Checkmate Wee, and I can't do that every single time. I just don't have it in me. Not tonight. Yeah. So, luckily, so far, playing pretty smoothly. You'll also notice that we've lost some rating points. That is okay. Yeah, now who's copying whom? Yeah, this should be fine. I think the first thing we do... I'm glad to have gotten it right, Checkmate. Okay. We're going to play knight b6. And I'm comfortable with that right now, although it could lead to issues. I don't think it will, though. So the thing that I'm thinking is they play c takes d4, and I play knight takes d4, and they're going to play something like bishop b5, pinning my knight. But I'm not really worried about that because I can play knight takes f4, ruining their pawn structure. They have to play e takes f4 in order to regain the material. And then I don't really mind if I bolster my center by playing something like this, even if they take here. I have an isolated pawn on the c file, but their e file is open to their king. So that actually seems advantageous for me. I'm not super worried about it. Okay, they're just getting ready to castle because they expect some stuff is going to happen. So the question is, now that they've played bishop e2, so they've wasted a tempo, do I want to take and force them off of the line that they were going to take? Or do I want to get ready to castle myself? Man, I still don't know what happens in the event of draws. Luckily, I don't draw very much. The alternative is that we can play c takes d4, and then when they recapture, it allows my bishop to come out and annoy people. Let's do that. Let's play c takes d4 so that I can develop my bishop to a square that I actually want it to be on. The alternative being bishop to d6. But either way, I don't have to worry about dropping this pawn, which seems advantageous to me. It also provides some potential tactics. In particular, if I play bishop to b3 and they just go ahead and castle, right? After having taken this back with, for example, the pawn, I can play bishop takes c2, and were they to take with the knight, then this would be a hanging pawn. If they take with the queen, then they're okay, but they're still tied down here. And I should be able to exert some additional pressure along their center. But we'll have to see how this goes. I mean, so far this has been... this position is chill so far. And luckily the match is pretty close here for us. It says win +8, draw 0, lose -8, which means that like we're close enough that it expects it's about a 50-50 win rate. Like they're marginally better than me, which makes sense. A week ago I was rated 1400, so it should be expected that a 1390 is somewhat within the vicinity of players that I should be expected to beat every once in a while. Oh, but they're really thinking about this, which is okay. I mean, just 7 moves into the game. We might have to give them some additional time, which we'll probably do if it gets low. It depends upon how the position gets, you know. Honor among thieves. Scare tactics. I don't know what you're talking about. A lot of subtlety in this position that's hard to explain in text. That is fair. I am not worried about them having a d-pawn versus an e-pawn. Is there somewhere useful that I can put this bishop? Oh yeah, I also have things like this now. I don't know that I want to play bishop d6, because when they play bishop g3, taking just opens the h-file, which is useful if they castle, but it actually provides them more attacking threats if they don't. I think what I want to do is move my bishop to b3 with the understanding that if they play a2, yeah, we can line up more attackers on this pawn. Now if they push, then we have to get ready to play this, and if my bishop's here, that's going to be a little bit difficult, so we might have to maneuver around a little bit, but we're aware of the complications that can arise there. Man, 7 people in the chat. Man, I should post on Facebook way more often. I normally don't tell anybody when I stream because I'm very averse to self-promotion and sort of bothering people. I think partially just I'm not particularly sensitive to it, but I don't want anybody to feel like I'm super self-promotional. But every once in a while when I do it, people seem to like it and people seem to respond to it. So I should probably loosen up my internal sort of compass on how good or bad that stuff is. Oh yeah, big streamer now. I mean, it's nothing like back when I played Hearthstone. Back in those days, I would routinely average like 14, 15 games. Yeah, Quasi, I will play you in a game. Right now, I think we have one person in line, and you would be after them. So if you want to wait a little bit, that's okay. Oh gosh, okay. I think we're okay for the moment. Yeah. So it's the person I'm playing right now, on and on and on. And then it's Semillion, if they're still in chat. And then it's you. And I'm just keeping this in my head. I'm going to open up a little notepad so that I can show people when they know. So it started out with on and on and on. Let me view, zoom in. Right, so we have on and on and on. Then we have Semillion. And then we have Quasi. There we go. Cool. This is our queue of people. We'll keep that off screen now. Okay, so they play c5. With the understanding that this might trap my bishop. Okay. So all right, Sensei wants in there too. Okay. So it seems like they're getting ready to play here. So when they play a6, I do have to be ready to take. And if do they have somewhere useful they can move their knight before they do that? They probably do. So I probably just need to trade that bishop. What up, Kulva Run 112? Okay, we have to be aware of what's going on there. This pawn is weak. How can I pile up against that pawn? The other thing is that this pawn is a thorn to our position, and how can I punish that? Also, this is a nice outpost for my nice. We gain a tempo on the queen. We provide a little bit more access to the position. They're probably not going to play this, though if they did, we don't have a dark square bishop to punish it. But let's go ahead and play that first. We're just going to play knight to e4. Got to keep moving. Got to keep moving. All right. And Sensei 1320, while we were talking about it, we have a little bit of a line. So right now, this is currently playing, and then these two people are here. So I'll add you to the list, Sensei. 1320. And if you're still around when we get to the point that it would be your turn, we can do it. We might turn these from 10-minute games into 5-minute games, just so that we can get through everybody. I'm glad that I put it in the stream title. People seem super interested in playing, which is always fun. I mean, I really enjoy playing people that are in the chat. That is fun. Yeah, and no worries if you duck out. I'm not going to be super offended. We'll just see if you're here. Okay, he still has 2 defenders on this pawn. I would like for this pawn to be gone. So I am going to play b6. And I don't mind creating 2 versus 1 here because this pawn becomes weaker and weaker. He is attacking my bishop. And the only place that I can really move it is to g6. The alternative is that I leave it here and allow this to happen. I don't really want that to happen. I think that this is probably a move. Oh, and we should undo that because the question is, do we want to take with our f-pawn? This diagonal, at least right now, is pretty well bolstered. And it provides a tempo on the bishop. It then lines up against the f2 pawn. The downside is it lowers our king security. But I think I kind of do want to. I think that's where I'm at right now. We're going to do it. I think it's probably wrong, but it's how I'm feeling right now, you know? And so now the queen is the only protector of this square. So, let's see. Takes, and he's still going to have this pawn here. And his bishop moves to defend. Accurate move, my friend. But we're still going to take on b6. Something funny just happened that I will see in the game. Okay. Yes, sure. Gosh. I did. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's continue. This pawn is well blockaded. We can take the open file. We can also, how can this knight become a good attacker? Let's see. We already have 1 here, and he's got 1 defender. If I move my queen to e6, we're defending and attacking. Let's do that. Got to keep ourselves moving here. Yeah, I'm glad that chat isn't spoiling any tactics or anything. I mean, on and on and on. They're playing for a sub right now. I'm gonna have to open my wallet. That's the funny thing is I can end up net negative every night that I do this, but it's fun. It gets people engaged. Okay. All right. Another rook. Okay. How do I activate myself here? Gosh. If I push. Yes. Let's do that. Just get ready for some pawn breaks. Getting ready for the pawn breaks. Also, I hope people have music pulled up in other tabs and stuff. I know that I keep the stream relatively quiet because I know that other people like listening to whatever it is that they want to listen to, and I don't begrudge that at all. And also, it makes it easier for me to not accidentally stumble onto copyrighted stuff so that if I ever replay this stuff later, it doesn't all end up muted. Interesting. Yeah. Really curious. Who's playing me? I wonder if this is somebody that I know. Hocut. Oh, no. I don't like that. Do I have a chess coach? No. Though I do have a coworker who helps me a lot. Okay. We can just play knight f6. No problem. And we're keeping up the time pressure. Do you have a chess coach, Quasi? I mean, I'm only rated, what is this, 1367, and I just got a USCF rating, 2 weeks ago? So I've only been playing for a couple of years, and I only actually played in a tournament for the first time, a week and a half ago, 10 days ago. So not yet, not there. Okay, this knight is undefended. And this pawn is also undefended. Is there anywhere that I can move that knight with tempo? Probably not. Okay, we're just going to move our rook to c8. This knight's actually pretty safe as long as we leave it here, and we can push down the middle of the thing. You have Leela and Stockfish. That is fair. I mean, very good. They're very good. They're good at chess. I don't know how good they are at teaching. I will say, if you guys are looking for resources to learn chess, I've really enjoyed Chessable. Chess.com has some good lessons. Oh gosh, there are a lot of YouTube people that I watch. Sort of in order of, let's see. So Levi Rosman is probably the least instructional, but the most entertaining. Then slightly more instructional is Ben Feingold. Then slightly more instructional is like Chess Network and Eric Rosen. And slightly more instructional than that is Daniel Naroditsky. Those are probably the 5 people that I would do it. Yeah, what Checkmate says. If you like a coach to tell you that all your moves are wrong, but never tell you why. Oh, thanks. I'm trying to read that. Sorry, it looks like it's Linerva. I need to move that element, which I will do in just a moment. Jeez, didn't really think that one through. Okay. So if we play here, we're just losing a pawn. If they play here, we can get ready to rear out our knight, which is fine. Yeah, I don't know who Linerva is, I think. Sounds kind of like Minerva McGonagall. And now that we're here, I think if we see a push, we can probably push. Yes. Yeah, and that seems fine for us. Man, we are getting attacked down the queen side, but that is okay. Oh, look, and James is online. Yeah, but you have to be smart enough to figure out why it was wrong. That's a problem. In fact, why don't we just where's the alert box? Let's just move the alert box down to here, where there's never anything. There we go. Okay. Well, this was a poor plan. Okay. Oh no, we're fine. We're fine. We can just play whose pawns will get there first. The answer may shock you. And by may shock you, I mean won't shock you. But, you know. Oh, and they are attacking twice, so they could have just taken that pawn if they wanted to. But they didn't. Yeah, okay, so we couldn't have done that either. Yeah. Find a new home, rook, so that I can get in here and start attacking all this stuff. Uh-huh. Okay. That is fair. Okay, diagonal cutoff. Might have pushed this pawn a little too far. Trying to see if there's some way to get my pieces better involved. I think it starts with something like this. Gosh, these pawns are such thorns. Oh, goodness. Okay. Let's give them an exchange. Let's make things complicated. Oh, no. That's bad. That's very bad. Haha! My opponent didn't see it. Okay. My opponent didn't see this either. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Sure. That's fine. I'm happy to liquidate that way. No, thank you. Uh-huh. And how do we defend this square? Like this. Yeah, sure. We can do this. The other thing we can do now is begin to interfere. Yeah, my opponent's just running out of time here, which I don't blame him. This has been a complicated game. Don't do that. No, that is so rude. Okay. Gosh. Yeah, my opponent's just out of time here. Gosh. I blundered, but I blundered in less time than my opponent. All right. Good game to on and on and on.